6:30. All right, it's 6:30. I'm going to bring this meeting of the Lawndale City Council to order. Madam City Clerk, please conduct the roll.
Okay, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Kearney.
Here.
Councilmember Cuevas.
Here.
Councilmember Suarez.
Present.
Councilmember Talavera.
Here.
Mayor Pullen Miles.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. And we're joined tonight for our flag salute. It's going to be held by Councilwoman Bernadette Suarez, followed by a prayer for Matthew Harbison from Lawndale Western Church.
Please stand. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Good evening. Today is St. Patrick's Day, and I'd like to give an Irish blessing to politicians. May your decisions be guided by wisdom and compassion. Your actions be integrity and in service. And may the people you serve always find a voice in your leadership. Amen.
Amen. That was a short one. Short. I know. Right. Let's have our public safety report. Let's hear from Captain Nicole Palomino.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed members of the City Council, and members of the community. I'm Nicole Palomino, the captain of South Los Angeles Station, and I will be presenting the public safety report for March 3rd through today, March 17th. And I will begin by discussing our notable arrests and investigations. So to begin, on March 4th, at approximately 9 a.m., Deputy Rodriguez conducted a traffic stop at 145th Street and Grevilla Avenue for failing to stop at a posted stop sign. Deputy Rodriguez contacted the driver and discovered he was unlicensed and on probation with search conditions, and he was also a convicted felon. Deputy Rodriguez searched the vehicle and located several boxes of ammunition and arrested the suspect for possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. And then also on March 4th, at approximately 1 a.m., Deputies Dominguez and Parks conducted a traffic stop of a vehicle at Hawthorne Boulevard and 169th Street for expired registration. The deputies contacted the two occupants and saw a nitrous oxide tank on the floorboard of the front passenger side and detained both of them pending a narcotics investigation. Deputy Parks located 48 ecstasy pills on the driver, and the passenger admitted to buying the nitrous oxide tank earlier in the day and ingesting nitrous oxide from a balloon. The driver was arrested for possession of a controlled substance for sales, and the passenger was arrested for possession of nitrous oxide. And then regarding our traffic-related incidents, Motorcycle Traffic Enforcement Deputy Morales issued 45 citations during the reporting period for various vehicle code violations, such as failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to stop for a red traffic light, and speeding. And then lastly, the next Neighborhood Watch meeting is scheduled for this Wednesday, March 19th at 6 p.m. at the Harold Hoffman Community Center located at 14700 Buren Avenue. Everyone from the community is invited and encouraged to attend, and this is a fantastic opportunity for Lawndale residents to gather and discuss important public safety topics with law enforcement and other community members. And this concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Any questions of the captain's report? Thank you,
Thank
Captain.
you.
Thank you. Okay. We have a couple of presentations tonight for outgoing commissioners and committee members and one retiring, one service pen, I should say. I don't know if she's retiring, but we got a service pen for you in a plaque. Vilma Hall. Okay, let's start with the outgoing commissioners. Let's start with Scott Smith. Scott, join us at the council. Yeah. Yeah, well, you guys can come down here, and I'll come back up.
Yeah, you have to keep coming up and down.
You want me to take the next one, or can you talk from the podium?
Yeah, let's talk.
From cutting so much meat?
Not recently.
Testing, test.
Everybody is old. Okay, Scott, well, this is a small plaque, but I hope, yeah, that's what I was saying, 9 years, like, wow. I'm sure you got, I'm sure you got space on your wall for this. Well, we want to thank you, Scott, for your dedication to the planning commission. You served on June 6, 2016 to February 28, 2025. And you're so busy with your kids and everything that you didn't apply again, and that's why I didn't appoint you again. Right? But I wanted to send you off with the plaque. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
I actually was on planning with Surly, and Pat's been on city council the whole time I've been on it, Robert, so Bernadette's been on for a while, but I learned a lot. I don't like that the state's pulling a lot of things away from the planning commission. You know, we got to follow the rules with the state, otherwise the city gets in trouble, so I get it. I don't know who you appointed in my place, but I think I was originally put on to rock the boat a little bit, and I know I did that on the first two. There's some people in the audience here that saw that and were witness to it, so I learned a lot, and I thank you for putting me on when I originally applied for it, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Come on, Michael.
Miss Ignacio Lynn. Thank you. I guess I'll start over. I want to thank you for your dedication and your service to the Parks and Recreation Commission and Social Services Commission on June 21st to February 28th, 25, presented by Lawndale City Council. Joanne. Loessa. 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 Hi, Joanne Loessa. In recognition of your dedicated service to the Parks, Recreation, and Social Service Commission from March 2023 to February 28, 25. And the sign, see, now this was nice.
Scott's jealous. Both of them, oh, man.
Okay, and it's signed by the mayor and the council members. Did Frank get in on this? Oh, yeah, you signed it. Right. You made it. Right, okay, congratulations.
Thank you for trusting me. I know I only was here for just 2 years. I'm gonna miss the city. That's the reason why I'm no longer gonna be serving on this commission. But again, I just a really, really great experience and really love my fellow commissioners as well. So it's really sad.
And we also have one for Uriel Gomez, but he's not here.
Hey, Scott, do you want a second? Bigger one.
All right, but I'll read it anyway. In recognition of your dedicated service to the Parks, Recreation, and Social Service Commission, November 6, 2023 to February 28, 2025.
I do 0.
Yeah, but he got to read this, though.
We do?
Yeah,
This is for you.
okay.
You gotta read it, Elma.
Thelma, or
That's Elma.
it's Thelma?
It's Elma.
You keep saying Thelma.
I don't say Elma.
Okay, I thought I heard you say Thelma.
I didn't.
Okay, we have another recognition for Vilma Hall, Senior Recreation Leader. Is Vilma here?
Right there.
I thought that was you. Can you read the,
I shall, thank you.
thank you.
Vilma was hired as a tiny tot aide April 19, back in the 1900s, 1996. In July of 2003, she was reclassified as recreation leader and promoted as senior recreation leader in March of 2006. Over the years, Velma has worked in a variety of city programs, including parks, wading pool, preschool, and special events. Velma was promoted to senior rec leader as her dedication and selflessness was evident to those around her. Throughout her time in Lawndale, Velma is always kind and friendly, and she made everyone around her feel like family. She was always positive and upbeat and walked around with a smile on her face. Velma is the type of person that always went above and beyond to make sure everyone was cared for. Velma always showed care and compassion for those around her. Velma has left an incredible mark on the community service department and the Lawndale community. A friend and colleague said this of Velma. Velma has been a valuable employee. I am very thankful to have worked with her all these years. I am happy to have her as a colleague and friend. Velma always showed her thoughtfulness by her offers of help and goodies. It has been a pleasure to work with her, and she will be missed. That's from your friend. On behalf of the Lawndale City Council, we congratulate you on your retirement and present you this plaque and a 28-year service lapel pin recognizing your dedication and service to the City of Lawndale and the Community Service Department for all these years. We wish you the very best in your retirement. Congratulations. And earmark, I worked with Velma when I was a senior rec leader. I started in 2001. And Velma was here, like I said, she was hired in the 1900s. And she's been a pleasure to work with. We did a lot of activities together, and I will sorely miss you, Velma. And a note, science bar, I'm done.
Okay, let's present this plaque. Those are beautiful. Okay, presented to Vilma Hall, Senior Recreation Leader, Community Service Department, on the occasion of your retirement, 28 years of service, April 1996 to March 2025. In recognition and gratitude of over 28 years of service and dedication, we wish you all the best in your retirement. Presented by the City Council of Lawndale. Congratulations.
Want to read her speech?
As Darian mentioned, I have been a proud employee of the city of Lawndale for 28 years. After moving to the United States in the 1980s, I became a citizen and eventually settled in Lawndale with my family. To this day, I still live in Lawndale. What's even more special, though, is that I was also able to work for the city that I live in. Over the years, I've experienced many interesting things working within the Parks and Recreation Department. I'm sure most of you can imagine. Smiley face. However, the most important part of this job experience has been the people, not just our great park and patrons, but all of the wonderful team members and supervisors that I've had the privilege of working with over the years, including some of whom are here today. Thank you. I just want to say a special thanks for treating me like part of the family. I have enjoyed working with all of you, and with that, let me just say that I'm very grateful for this recognition opportunity, and I appreciate all of you for being here. Farewell to everyone as I start the next chapter of my life. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we're on item E, oral communications. If you'd like to speak to this body on the oral communications, I ask that you line up by the flag. When it becomes your turn, please approach the podium. Start with your name first, if you would. At 2.5 minutes, the amber light on that screen will come on to tell you to wrap things up. Let's have our first speaker.
How you doing? Matthew Harbison, Lawndale Wesleyan Church. I just want to say thank you for doing things like plaques and pins and recognizing the people who serve the city. You can easily just sweep them under the rug as you move people from commission to commission, but you take the time to do something like this. And I say thank you for investing in your citizens, in the people who serve this community, and just as much as you are up there, they're doing the hard work as well. And so thank you again for that. That is a special thing, and just as a resident of the community, I just feel closer to the community when I'm able to experience that. I'd also just like to say, Randall, it's good to see you back. Missed you for a couple weeks, so glad you're here. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So good evening, Mayor, council members, and community members. My name is Michelle Pino. I'm the Community Library Manager at Lawndale Library. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today about the exciting programs and services we are offering to support our community. So this evening, I want to highlight Library Fest, a community celebration, and invite everyone in the community to attend. This is taking place Saturday, April 12th, from 1 to 4. Library Fest is a free family-friendly event designed to bring the community together to celebrate literacy, creativity, and learning. And we want to showcase the library's role beyond books. And it's open to all ages, featuring a mix of fun and interactive activities, including interactive programs for all ages, 360 photo booth, face painting, Friends of the Library book sale, snacks and refreshments, and booth from community partners offering information and resources. And I want to invite you guys too as well to come and celebrate with us. Other programs that we're going to be having this coming month for early learners, ages 0 to 5, we have Story Time. Takes place Fridays, April 4th and the 25th at 10:30. It's an interactive story time with books, songs, rhymes, and movements to develop school readiness and skills for children ages 5 to 12. We have Northworthy Puppets. It's a STEAMS program. Thursday, April 3rd at 3:30. It's a puppet musical featuring 2 young minds competing in a science fair with a STEAM-focused adventure. We also have Reading Buddies, Fridays, April 11th, 18th, and 25th at 4 p.m. It's a one-on-one reading practice with a buddy to build confidence in reading skills. Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Earth Day Craft, Wednesday, April 16th at 3:30. Celebrate Dia de los Niños, Cascarones. It's on Wednesday, April 23 at 3:30. We're going to celebrate children and family around the world with story time featuring Beautiful Eggs by Alice Lindstrom and Decorative Egg Craft. We also have Creation Station Saturday, April 5th from 10 to 4:30. It's a drop-in crafting sessions with materials provided. Just bring your imagination. For teens ages 12 to 18, we have a Native American pottery workshop Saturday, April 5th at 3 p.m. World Art Day manga drawing workshop Thursday, April 10th at 4 p.m. So they can come and learn about manga history and create self-portrait manga style. Ceramic mugs workshop Saturday, April 19th at 12 p.m. Paint and design a ceramic mug with artist Anna Parkinson. We also have our Teen Advisory Board meeting on Saturday, April 26th.
Time's expired.
At 12. Thank you.
Thank you.
Holly Osborne from Redondo Beach. I just want to finish something that I started a couple weeks ago. I told you I go to a lot of COG meetings, and I talked about the 405 freeway, well, I call it adjusting, they call it widening project in Lawndale between the 105 and Artesia. And I was told that, I showed you that it would go through an area of Lawndale that had been redlined in the past, and Medro had said they will not approve project in communities that were redlined in the past if the project would negatively affect the community. And I mentioned that I was told Lawndale did not want the project, and the redlining argument should stop it by equity justice concerns. Now, this project had been on a COG consent calendar. They were hoping it would slide through, but fortunately, your council member pulled it. But last Monday at the COG Transportation Committee, Jackie Bacharach mentioned that the COG would have to come up with 140 to 170 million to have that project, and she had initially thought it would be 30 million. And so she wasn't happy. And she said, I'm not so excited about this project anymore. But I came here tonight just to educate you, because there's another 405 project, and it's different. But if you understand it, you'll understand why they shouldn't be lumped together and stuff on consent calendars. And I got 7 copies, okay? Just pass them out, all right? And if you, sir, give me this one back, I'll let you read it now. Okay. So this one is there's the Carson, Wilmington, and this project has 3 options. No build, add auxiliary lanes and complete streets, and then do only complete streets in this thing called TDM. And that's listed on your page right here, so you don't have to write it down, okay? Much to the consternation of certain COG members, there was not an option to just do freeway adjusting. You have to do complete streets, whether you like it or not. This is a new rule for these projects. And a complete street means, for example, if you're walking or bicycling on Inglewood Avenue, and then you come to where it goes under the freeway, if it's complete, you can continue to cycle through. There's no bike lane there, but they want to install bike lanes and stuff like that. They didn't discuss it at the meeting, but they had 5 places, you can see this, where they want to do complete streets in Carson. Okay, that's what these marks are. You can, I'm doing too fast. I'm going to get all mixed up. I'm just saying I have no idea how Carson feels about this, but however they feel, it should have nothing to do with how you feel. I'm going to finish this sentence. It does make logical sense that the answers could be different, okay? So stick to your guns and pull stuff from consent calendars. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this body? Okay, seeing none, let's bring it up to diocese. Councilmember Talavera.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Thank you for being here and giving us part of your time. I think some of the business say, or churches say, you could have chosen a better place or a different place, but we're glad you're here with us. So I'm just happy that you're here with us, and I want to just comment on Matthew's comment that being able to recognize people is a joy, okay? And I'm glad that we're doing that. I'm glad that Lawndale has the foresight to recognize those partners that we have working for us and doing community service. So thank you to each and every one of you. For Michelle Pino, thank you for having such a wonderful library program, okay? Are all these events have flyers on your website? Okay, good. Okay, so I want to share those flyers and I want to share the information also. So thank you. And Dr. Osborne, thank you for always being there. I also sat at that meeting that she was talking about, and I was just happy that she was there. It gave me a sense of relief. That was my first one. I'm new to this opportunity, so thank you for helping me along and being there and giving me that confidence to participate in that meeting with the COGS. Helping me along, and
Councilwoman Suarez.
I think Councilmember Talavera summed it up pretty well. And so with that, I'll just say, may the force be with you and pass it along.
Councilwoman Cuevas.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and spending the evening with us. And thank you for those that are watching us.
Mayor Pro Tem Kearney.
Hey, I'll just say thanks for the three people that came up to speak, and with the three to my left, I'll just say ditto.
And to the three to my left, and the one to my right,
Yeah.
I'll say ditto as well.
There you go.
But no, thank everyone for coming out. Okay, let's move our agenda. Okay, we're on item 7,
being there and giving me that.
the city sphere of influence expansion.
Huh?
Oh, I skipped the consent calendar?
So moved.
Okay, we're on items G,
Yeah.
consent calendar.
Back to motion to go to presentation.
I'll second that.
It's been, the consent calendar has been approved by, the motion has been made by Kearney and Cuevas, seconded. Is there any questions on the consent calendar? Okay, any discussion? Would the council please vote?
For the consent calendar, the motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Now you're on your
Now we're on 7. Discussion of the city's sphere of influence and expansion.
Peter.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Item number 7 is the discussion of the city's sphere of influence expansion. Community development staff is requesting council's direction regarding the city's existing sphere of influence. The city's general plan established there's a map that shows the existing city sphere of influence. It's the planning regulations within the city, and it also includes areas that's outside of the city. To the east of us is a county island, in a way. It's El Camino Village, and it includes 1.4 square miles, approximately 8,500 residents, and it also includes, El Camino Village, Alondra Park, and the El Camino College. So staff is asking for council's consideration for direction regarding a sphere of influence expansion. The local agency formation commission is the regulatory body recognized by the state when there's discussions such as sphere of influence and boundaries. Staff is asking for direction in terms of allowing staff to initiate contact with LAFCO. Some of the process and procedures include a general plan amendment where planning staff would make a recommendation to the planning commission regarding the sphere of influence expansion. And then the planning commission would make a recommendation to the council for consideration. This sphere of influence discussion was initiated when the city manager was aware of the city of Torrance potentially looking or exploring into annexing into this area. So that's also part of the record and discussion for the council to consider. With that, staff is able to answer any questions. And I would say that there's 2 options for the council: to direct staff to initiate and introduce a general plan amendment to be submitted to the commission, or provide further direction to staff.
Okay, is that the end of your report? Okay, any questions on the report?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, in general. Bernadette, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a question, because I tried to do more research on what is a sphere of influence. So I was hoping for the general public, could you explain and maybe give details? Like, what is that exactly?
So, the state law established a general plan, A general plan is a framework of land use policies of how a city could develop. It includes land use, circulation, open space, and it also, under state law, it identifies areas that the city has influence. It's typically unincorporated islands or land belonging to the county. So if the city is adjacent to it, it has a sphere of influence on these residents. So when I was saying that it's 1.4 square miles and 8,500 residents, even though they're county residents, our city does have influence in terms of land use, open space, because they would shop in our city, use some resources, or go to a park. So this is the sphere of influence, and this sphere of influence is reviewed by LAFCO, Local Agency Formation Commission, and they're the one that's recognized by the state to review a sphere of influence, and our sphere of influence is to the east of our city limits of Perry.
Okay, and then one other question I had regarding the report, because it talks about, does it talk about the college or just, yes, the college. When you look online, and someone told me that Torrance already owns parts of the college, but not all of it, that was my understanding.
So in the council's exhibits are LAFCO maps. So LAFCO maps doesn't indicate that. So that's why so you'll see Lawndale's map, and if I can kind of show it, Lawndale's right here. And so if you look at Torrance, their line does not include, so we'll further discuss this with LAFCO if directed by the council.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Let's hear from the public.
If you look at the history of this area, this is really an interesting topic. This is the third or fourth time that Torrance has tried to annex this section. If one looks back on the history of the village area itself, one will find that in 1927, the county took the acreage by eminent domain in order to build a public park, which occurred in 1960. The true story is told by an historian, Alonzo Rose Jefferson, who states, "The land of present-day Alondra Park, see through eminent domain, prevented the development of Gordon Manor, an upper and middle-class subdivision for African-American residents." She alleges this was prompted by wealthy Palos Verdes residents attempting to keep invading South American Africans out of the South Bay. 2 years prior, Bruce's Beach had experienced the same treatment. Over the years, there have been attempts by Torrance, Gardena, Lawndale, and Hawthorne to play musical chairs with unincorporated areas of the South Bay. It now seems El Camino Village and Lawndale Park and El Camino are again up for grabs. In 1995, a portion of El Camino Village was added to the city of Gardena by a vote of 132 to 259 residents. Previous to that, Lawndale had to scramble in 1959 and incorporate in order to save itself from being annexed by the city of Torrance. So the incorporation of Lawndale goes back to the same plan of Torrance to annex this area. At one point, Torrance was viewing Redondo Beach with envious intentions, but that only produced laughter, not results. It is not clear whether Torrance would be interested in annexing El Camino Village, as their estimate is that the net cost would be $16 million annually to take over this area. Thank you.
Okay, so let's open it up for some discussion. Mr. City.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just want to add
Hold on.
to.
Let me let a member of the public speak again.
I just found out about this today, and I've just got a question. What is Alondra Park? Is it the park, or is it the area of residence above it? Because are you trying to annex all the nice green space? And are you going to keep it green space? Or just, that's just what's confusing. I bet a lot of people don't know what Alondra Park is. So that's the question.
Yes,
going
ma'am.
to talk about some of the history as well. So thank you for mentioning Gordon Park. At El Camino College, where I work, at least the lore is that they had that chunk of land, or however they got it, and they had to decide what part of the city they would be in. They have their own zip code, right? 90506. And they just decided to be Torrance. They could have been, Gardena or Lawndale. So it's technically, yes, on the address it says Torrance, but they don't consider themselves part of Torrance. I'm just trying to figure out why Torrance keeps wanting to, take over all these other cities. What is it in it for them? And again, being on the row, Torrance was the one city that said, yeah, we want it down the row. So I'm not particularly interested in living in Torrance.
Mayor,
Yes,
Council, I'll kind of do some clarification on the LAFCO stuff.
Keep it short.
Keep it short. So we're not annexing anything. This is just a sphere of influence amendment. It's just putting over our general plan area over the property and the area based on the maps exhibits. If the council does decide to annex, we'll move forward with that. Right now, we're just asking for a planning to plan the area. It's just a general plan amendment. We do pre-designation, take the commission, bring the recommendation to the council. And then we meet up with local area formation commission, which oversees boundaries for cities and special districts. And then we would bring that back, obviously, for further, you have to do a plan of services. We have to do a fiscal impact analysis. All of these things have to be brought forward before we even go forward with that. And then the LAFCO board entertains that process. We are not looking at taking our sphere of influence covers most of the residential area. We're only looking at the park area right now to expand our sphere. And right now, we're not annexing. This came to light because I've been attending the COG meetings. I've been attending those meetings, and this is how I discovered this. I'm thankful Torrance informed us because we weren't aware of this. LAFCO informed us too after I had contacted them, and they had said that they asked Torrance to contact us. So we've been in talks. We're meeting with them in April, and we're glad we're going to find out what's going on with this whole thing because it's the first we've heard of it. We were surprised, but we're going to work with the city of Torrance and LAFCO, and then we'll see where it goes. I'm not sure totally why they decided to go forward with this. Based on the staff report the city of Torrance provided, it's very expensive. They did a preliminary plan of service and a fiscal analysis, and it looks pretty costly. So we're not sure what the impetus behind this is. But residents, we provided these background on this. Historically, I guess it's not unusual for cities to do that. And I also have talked to LAFCO about fixing our boundaries now. If the council is aware, Marine and Prairie, we probably need to put those at center line. We also need to work on Rosecrans and Hawthorne Boulevard. Those need to be amended, and also along the Rosecrans, because some of them, there are little, what we say in the LAFCO talk is gerrymandered, and we'd like to fix those up and straighten them up because the ultimate goal of LAFCO and the city is to provide municipal services in an efficient, timely manner, and it's confusing the law enforcement and public safety. That's it. Thank you.
Bernadette. Sure.
So in a nutshell, to use the Mayor Pro Tem's phrase, layman's term, we basically just want to say, if anything changes, you're going to have us at the table during those discussions, essentially.
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a question. So what effect would this have on Torrance's plans for annexation?
In our preliminary discussions, Mr. Mayor and Council, the LAFCO just depends on the boards, what they feel is who can provide the best services. Obviously, it's in our sphere, so they thought initially we could provide the best services to this area, this county unincorporated area. So most likely, I feel, based on my LAFCO experience and working with LAFCOs, that we'd probably be best primed to provide the services to the area should we decide in the future to annex. The best part about the SOI, sphere of influence expansion, it really does not impact us financially or fiscally. We don't have to provide services to that area. So could it change something? Yes, the LAFCO could reconsider their application from the city of Torrance because if there's competing applications, it could effectively stop their annexation, potentially. based on my discussions.
Okay, so that tells me if we do adopt this, it doesn't hurt us, but it puts us in a better position if we should want to annex it, or even if we don't annex it, it stops them from annexing it.
Potentially if our sphere is changed, but it's totally up to the board. The LAFCO board, excuse me.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Wouldn't we want to annex them? I mean, it's a small area, which will help our city grow. They're using already some of our schools. So by annexing them, we could all gain from it. The students that are going to our local schools will benefit from it too.
There's a couple of things that could happen. It could change the dynamic of the city for certain, add our population. It could also, we could work with, if the council decided to annex and LAFCO entertained it, we could ask for the county to upgrade the roads. I've done this in what they call inhabited annexations. We could get them to upgrade the roads and do a tax sharing agreement to where we get more property tax since we're taking on more of the burden. In addition to that, we could ask for other things from the county. And that's not unusual during these kind of types of annexation. But the future use is what we need to look at. And the future of different types of uses out there is where it really has a great impact on the city, potentially for the city and in the future. So if it definitely could have a positive impact on the city, as long as we recouped our costs on the tax services. So that would be our negotiation with LA County with a tax sharing agreement.
What's the cost if we were to move forward? Is there a cost to do stuff?
Yeah, it's a
like
couple
inflation?
$1,000s in fees, and we'd work with LAFCO and file an application. If we were to determine the cost of, there's no fiscal impact or municipal service costs for a sphere of influence amendment. If the council decided to annex, then we would need to do a plan of services and a fiscal impact analysis. And that would be totally, the council will review that and determine if that was acceptable.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Bernadette.
Yeah, my question is, do we know when you do annexation, does the public get a vote in it, including those residents that live in that area? I'm only asking because I would think they would be looking at which city would, increase their property values and whatnot, and so that's my question.
Oh, yeah, so we would have to put together an outreach program because it's inhabited. We'd have to meet with the residents. We'd have to do many, many meetings, set up a website. I would recommend that too if we decided to do that, and provide why they should come into the city. And there is a protest notice. It's different than most elections. You have to protest. So how the rule works, I'm just generalizing, if more than 25%, less than 25%, it goes automatically. That protest, they actually have to physically fill out a protest notice and say they're against the annexation. If more than 25% to 49% are for it, it goes to election. If it goes over 51%, it's killed off. What they say, it doesn't go forward. So we have to do a lot of outreach. So that would mean many, many meetings and meeting with folks.
And then my other point was, I'm fine with the sphere of influence just because that does impact us, depending on whatever the future plans, as you say, are. I'm fine with that part. The other part, I would need to know more cost numbers and the likelihood of it and whatnot.
We definitely bring that to you, Mayor and Council, with the plan of services and fiscal impact analysis.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think we're getting off track here. We're supposed to be voting on this sphere, and maybe we're going to agendize another meeting about annexation and how much it's going to cost. Because I don't think, maybe the city attorney can answer. Are we getting off track with annexation? We're just voting on the sphere, right?
It's on the sphere, but it also, the only reason to change your sphere of influence is because you may at some point want to annex. If you had no interest in annexing, then you wouldn't change the spheres. So I think we're still within the information gathering.
Okay.
And so far, yeah. So far, I'm fine with the conversation.
Okay.
I think we should increase or expand the sphere so that we would have opportunity to annex if we want to go down that road. But of course, that's way down the line, of course.
So Councilwoman Suarez made a motion?
And then let me add this real quick before we vote. I did meet with Council Member John Kajuri from Torrance, and he explained to me exactly what how the process works. In that, he said that it started off their interest in this area. At least this is what his report was. That remember a couple of years ago, one lady got killed at El Camino. El Camino, I guess she was walking her dog or something. And he said, so they start to meet with the Neighborhood Watch organization that's in that area. And they were asked to annex it because people expressed that their desire to be in a city, particularly Torrance. Now, he's not really sold on the ideal. There's still fact-finding. Matter of fact, there's an ad hoc committee, the council, that they put together to look into this issue. So he's not sold on it, and I didn't tell him that we was going to have this on the agenda because I didn't know we was going to have it on the agenda, actually. And I was trying to get more information, and so that's why I thought it was advantageous to meet with him. Because he actually reached out to me. Prior to that, I had no idea that this was going on, even though they have a lot of studies and stuff conducted. You got a motion?
Well, I think Frank has a question.
I just have a question. The information that was provided in our agenda, attachment 3, does it indicate how far along Torrance is with this plan, or is this just?
So, Mr. Mayor, Council, they're not that far along. They're just in the preliminary stages, and LAFCO has informed us, staff, that they have not filed any application. They're just still in the study stages.
Yeah.
So now, Councilwoman Suarez made a motion, I believe. If I, with one.
Sure.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay. And that motion is to,
It's number 1, right?
is to do what?
Increase the spirit, oh.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Direct
There you go.
staff. Now you have 2 bullet points.
Number 1 and 2.
Okay.
That's what I said, right? Number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said number 1 and 2.
Yes. Staff do number 1. There you go.
2 bullet points.
Okay.
2 bullet points.
And you're seconding the
I
motion?
second number 1 with 2 bullet points.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. Would the council please vote?
For item number 7, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Okay, number 8, award of contract, community development block grant, ADA sidewalks. Who's going to give this report?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Lucho Rodriguez, Public Works Director, presenting a award of contract for community development block grant to repair some sidewalks in the city. The CDBG program has $373,000 for this project currently in the funds. We are planning to use it all. This project was advertised for 3 weeks in the local newspaper and several trade journals. And we invited some companies also to review our specifications. The bid opening was held on March 5th of this year, and 2 companies submitted proposals. Staff reviewed all the proposals and found out that the low bidder, Onyx Paving Company, has a valid bid for $282,000. I also can give you the math that will utilize the $373,000. The bid is $282,000 plus 20% contingency, and we need a labor compliance consultant also to keep all the papers in check for the federal funds, CDBG federal funds. Our recommendation is that City Council award the construction contract to Onyx Paving Company in the amount of $282,000. Also approve the construction contingency of $56,000 and approve consultant costs of $35,000 for the project. That concludes the report, and if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, any discussion on this item? Shirley Cuevas.
How many more sidewalks do we have to repair? Do you know approximately?
Many, if that's the question. This project addresses 5 locations around the city, but sidewalk repair is a constant, ongoing effort, because as we move forward, whatever gets fixed deteriorates and has to be, but the list it's very large. We will have projects forever to repair sidewalks.
And for this project is to put the yellow little bumps going down the ramp, or is it just sidewalks itself?
Thank you for the question. Yes, it's sidewalk as well as the access ramps at the corners.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any more questions on this item? Seeing none, what is the pleasure of this body?
I'll make
concerning
a
this search?
recommendation, go to staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
And I want to see it come in at $373,000 even. I don't believe that at all, but either way. I've never seen anything come in exactly on budget.
Okay, so the motion's been made by Kearney and seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will the council please vote?
For item number 8, the motion passes unanimously.
On item 9, approve the third amendment to the contract service agreement for Lawndale Security Improvement Project.
Thank you. It's me again presenting this amendment to the Security Improvement Project agreement. This project is basically completed. It installs security cameras at city facilities. The final work identified a few areas that had not enough coverage, so we want to use the remaining funds to complete that, and for that, we need to extend the contract for 3 more months. So the recommendation is for City Council to approve this third amendment to the project, extending the term for 3 months until June 30, 25. There's no increase to the current project amount.
Okay.
And that concludes the report.
Okay, anybody have any questions though, of the report? Seeing none, what's the recommendation from the committee?
A motion to approve?
I'll second.
Motion's been made to approve the staff recommendation to approve the extension of the contract by Cuevas and seconded by Suarez. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would the council please vote?
For item number 9, the motion passes unanimously.
Number 9. Okay, number 10. Approve the second amendment to contract service agreement for fiscal year 2023-24 for the citywide sign replacement project. Let's have a staff report.
Hello again. It's me again, Lucho Rodriguez, Public Works Director. We have another extension of a contract, basically for the same reasons, running out of time, and we haven't quite completed the project. There's about 20% of signs to be replaced, so we're almost there. And basically running out of time. We are asking to extend this contract also until June of this year, at which time we will come to City Council to do a notice of completion and take it to, and complete the project. Also, this project has no increase on the dollar amount. This is only for time.
Okay.
Thank you. And that concludes the report.
He answered your question?
He knows me right now.
Okay, so that's the end of the report. What's the,
I'll motion to approve staff recommendation.
there you go.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Cuevas that we approve the staff recommendation and seconded by Kearney. Any discussion on the motion? Will the council please vote?
For item number 10, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Thank you. Items from the council members.
Number 11.
Yep.
City manager? City manager
City
first.
managers, okay. City managers report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. No comments tonight.
Okay. He's trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's St. Patrick's Day. Right. Okay, items from the council members. Item 11, speed hump policies. Who's going to give this report?
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. It's Lucho Rodriguez again.
Again.
I
And
think he has a next couple.
Public Works staff is bringing this item forward at the request of Councilmember Suarez for City Council review and discussion and following direction on possibly updating the speed hump policy if desired. The current version of the speed hump has been in place since the 1900s, actually 1996.
Oh, yeah.
And
That sounds so long ago.
the policy guidelines contain established minimum criteria for which the installation of speed humps can be considered. The city's policies and procedures for the installation of speed humps is composed of several common practice elements that help determine the appropriateness of installing speed humps at certain locations, including the procedure for a resident to follow when requesting an assessment. According to a policy, speed humps are to be only implemented on residential streets with a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour. The streets must have a maximum grade or slope of 5%, which is basically flat streets, and one lane of travel in each direction, cannot be a multi-lane road. And the street should not be an important access route for emergency vehicles. So it is a restrictive policy. However, this policy matches what really other cities do have in California, the ones that do have a policy. That was based on my review. I want to also mention that speed humps are not recognized or considered a traffic control device from the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices in California. And for that reason, speed humps are seldom used in public roads in California. The recommendation is recommended to City Council to discuss the speed hump policy and provide directions for staff for potentially updating the policy if there's interest. And basically, that's the policy. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try to answer the best that I can. That concludes my report.
So just a question of clarification. Are you saying that speed humps are not included in the manual that that's used for traffic calming?
That is correct. It's not considered a, let me use the right term here. It's not considered a traffic control device. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's hear from the public.
Hi there, Andrew Blackney, resident of Lawndale. I was looking over some of the other cities and some of the ways that they have petitions, some of their typical practices in the South Bay. Particularly, I was looking at the city of Inglewood, the city of Hawthorne, and the city of Torrance. And they have policies very similar, but they also have other policies that kind of mirror this or that kind of follow along with this in terms of reviewing what streets classify as these certain residential streets. For instance, residential streets are broken up into purely residential streets. I don't remember what the exact terminology is, and then collector streets. And they all have a review of these collector streets, at least on a semi-regular basis. And they, talking with one of the, what city was it? I don't remember what city it was, but one of the people from their public works department said that if they do have someone that comes forward with a speed humps policy or speed humps request at the city, that and it's on a collector street, they'll typically review and say, is this really a collector street or is it not a collector street? Because there's some streets, for instance, in Lawndale that really don't make sense as collector streets. One of them that I have pointed out before is Larch, is classified as a collector street, but Freeman, which has the light there, is not classified as a collector street. And so that really doesn't make sense to me. And I think the city should try and adopt a policy of regular review of these. And similarly, in terms of also for being able to do ticketing, they need to do regular speed studies of some of these streets that they do classify as collector streets, to make sure that they actually do follow this. There was a study done on 147th that showed that this street's speed probably should be reduced. It wasn't a full speed study, but it was a study done by a traffic company that the city commissioned. And so all of that put together, I think that you need to have a more robust policy on how streets are classified, what they're classified as, and what speeds there are, so that when someone does come forward with a petition for speed humps, it's not just an ad hoc thing that can block a maybe rightfully justified speed hump request. Thank you.
You're welcome. Suarez.
Thank you. So I had requested this because I had numerous residents reaching out for pretty much all of 147th, both the east and the west side of it. And I guess I attended some of the traffic committee meetings, and some of what the resident said, some of it just, if you think about it, didn't make sense. We reduced Prairie Avenue, and yet now it has, I think, the same speed as some of the collector street, the 147th. So it just, some of it didn't make sense to me. And then I know, we talk about, the speed bumps aren't going to help at all, but I see them all the time, like when I'm driving in other cities and they're near schools and whatnot, and I don't know, to me it seems effective. So I really think we need to look at this policy again, look at the definitions for what we're classifying them, not because it's very frustrating as a resident when you're saying, okay, well, go get the signatures. Okay, get the signatures. Oh, well, this doesn't qualify at all. And it's like, well, you just spent a whole bunch of time collecting the signatures and doing all that work for it to be a no. I think there needs to be, and as we're growing, as people are using different modes of transportation, a lot of things change, and I think we need to look at our policies and make sure, they align with, slower moving vehicles that people are using now and whatnot. So I would want to look at to how we're defining them and just see if there's some wiggle room, and maybe just test pilot a few things. I know it's very frustrating for the residents that live near these streets when people are racing and whatnot. And so I'd be a proponent of looking at this. Perhaps this is something we can also give to the COG, say, can you show us these cities' policies and how they do things? And that would cut some of the research for you, because they could provide that and get that easily.
Okay, you got that?
Yeah, I get that. It's, would you like then to staff to come back with the notes of what we find at other cities and
Yeah, their definitions, how they handle it, especially
Yeah.
what they mentioned, the collector streets, how we define our streets. And then also too, how we're keeping track of when residents bring these requests, and then we tell them, well, these are the steps, towards traffic calming. Because it's hard when we've had, and you're fairly new here, but when other public works director and consultants have heard it, and then it gets to a new person, they're like, oh, I'm just learning about this. And I don't expect you to, them to know everything, but it's good to keep track of, has there been improvement, or how do we keep track of improvement? I know we have the sheriffs out there patrolling, but how do we keep track of whether mitigation measures that we've implemented are actually improving?
I can provide some information if you would like now to maybe help with decisions. To touch a little bit on the comments of our resident, and one important item, as a matter of fact, we are going to look into the speed of 147th Street because now the Prairie Avenue went down. We need to review the other street. There are mitigation measures that are done at our cities, and it's as I mentioned before when we were talking about 147th Street a few meetings back. We start incrementally see what really works and what doesn't. The striping was added to signal people, hey, there's stop signs here, you have to pay some more attention. One of the, from experience speaking here, the speed humps that were installed at another agency, in no time, the same residents came back and said, please remove them. Because in concept, they are great, but they make a lot of noise. Any truck that goes there, pickup truck or anything with loose items, it's a lot of noise. And the residents came back and said, I don't want it in front of my house anymore. So that has happened. Our policy, as a matter of fact, comes with a form currently that is for installation requests, and the second form is removal of them.
Yeah.
So it's already there, kind of anticipating you may not like them.
But could you, sorry, not to interrupt, but could you, usually it's the behavior that you're trying to change with, for example, some parts of the city, or what they complain about is the people speeding. I'm guessing it's probably the same ones. Could you have temporary implementation of some of these things? That way they kind of get the point, and then at some point, you test it out and see how it works?
We could, and that's the direction that, as a public works director, I'm looking for from council. If there's interest, we can look at this. There's some that actually get bolted on to instead of building them with asphalt, so they are easily removable. They're not necessarily inexpensive. They do cost some money. One important item to mention, which I did mention before, is the emergency services. And typically that is the one that make people not necessarily want the speed humps again, because that's certainly a slowdown in service. That's basically all the information I have at this time. To update the street names not the street names, the classification, that goes through a general plan amendment. When we do a general plan amendment every so often, ours, I believe, is from 2021, if I'm not mistaken, but a quick amendment reviews this classification of the streets, so it's doable. It requires a little bit of work, but it's doable. And the speed limits, that's also, currently we're still within 5 years of the last speed limit done for the city, but they have before 7 years, we need to update it again where all the speeds get reviewed, and that changes our, hopefully we can slow down people through that process. However, it's very uncommon that the speed limits get changed. Typically, they read the same. The one more thing I want to add about speed humps is they are good when the streets are very long, because you gotta slow them down in between. In our city, there's a stop sign almost at every corner, which slows, by design, if you would, stops people. Just one thing.
But they're not stopping.
But they're not stopping.
They keep going.
Correct.
And my other thing was not just speed humps too for this discussion, but do we only keep it to speed humps? Because I wanted to talk about like other implementation, or do we have to re-agendize it for traffic calming measures and?
Yeah, what was brought here was the speed hump policy. So I think to the extent that you would want to talk about other things, the right way to do that under the Brown Act would be to give direction to staff to bring back the speed hump policy, but also to incorporate in any new discussion whatever other items that you'd like to see. So list them off and then have the director bring them back.
Okay, so traffic calming mechanisms, speed hump policy, the classification of the streets, temporary traffic calming mechanisms in the process, and then I'll let my colleagues speak.
And while I have it fresh in my mind, can we add those, I don't know what you call them, but they're,
The dots.
yeah, the dots.
The dots.
Yeah, what are those called? The
Dots. I'm sorry.
The dots.
We know what you're talking about.
Throw that in there too, as well.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is all fine and good and everything, but I think we should table this and bring it back after July and see our budget, because I have a whole list of things that negative about speed bumps. For instance, speed bumps do not sufficiently reduce vehicle speeds once the vehicle has left the speed hump. In fact, discomfort and shock sometimes decrease the vehicle speed's increase. And then about motorcycles, speed humps cannot be designed to meet the specifications for all types of vehicles on the street. And also liability, speed humps are not recognized by the state of California as official traffic control devices. Injuries caused by speed humps may result in significant additional liability for the city. Results vary in studies and raise concerns about the potential danger of speed humps. For this reason, the city of Huntington Beach does not use speed humps on public streets. I mean, there's pros and cons to everything, but I don't want to spend any money until after July 1st as we see how the budget's going to be, because we don't know how the federal government's going to be, the state or county. So if we bring it back sometime after July, after the budget.
Can I go now?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't want to wait because if we want to incorporate it, we would want this discussed before the budget, but this is also not to bring projects forward. This is just mainly talking about the process and whatnot. And if there is a cost associated with it, I would want it to know before the budget. That way, if we want to have it incorporated into the budget, we have it.
Okay.
This will require us to use our traffic consultant and give us some sort of a recommendation. I did some education, I would say, on all these traffic calming devices and that, which it's basically striping, runabouts, or things like that, and it requires the specialty to save us time.
Would Measure any of the COG funds, do you know, be able to be used, or is it specifically for specific uses?
That is a good question. I can ask them, see if there's any way. The COG, even though it's off topic for me, but the COG is trying to get some on-call consultants themselves so that we can tap into.
Yeah.
They are not in place yet.
Okay.
But I can certainly ask, see where there's funds available.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I don't know if is this a receive and file or bring it back?
I think it's receive and file.
Okay, so, because I don't think there was.
No.
Or provide direction, mayor,
comes with the-
council.
it comes with
and,
direction.
Which we've gotten some direction.
Okay, okay.
And then bring it back.
Okay. Councilwoman Suarez, you good?
Was that clear? Sorry.
Yeah.
So-
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
Okay, we're on item 12, letter of
put it in
support for
policy
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department staffing. Let's have the report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So I'll be quick. This item is before you. It's a letter. It's a draft letter for all the council signature, the mayor and council. This is a letter to Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office, our Board of Supervisor for our district. And it's asking the Board of Supervisors to step up whatever. There's a shortage in the Sheriff's Department. I was just at a conference with the sheriffs on Thursday, and they are short, not only sworn, but also civilian. So it's substantially higher than even just in what the letter mentions from the civilian side as well. Sheriff Luna mentioned it at the conference. So this letter is, to Supervisor Harley Mitchell asking to support the sheriffs in whatever way they can. So that's what this letter's about, and if you have any input on it, any changes, just please let us know, and then it's all for the council signature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for preparing it. Any discussion on this item?
I'm okay with sending this letter.
So,
Um,
and a
we-
motion?
We need all the help that they could get.
I'll make a motion then.
I'll second it then.
You second it?
I'll second it, yeah.
Okay, motion been made by Pulley Miles and seconded by Kearney. Any discussion on it?
I'm fine with it.
Fine. Okay. Will the council please vote?
For item number 12, motion passes unanimously.
Report of attending at meetings. Item 13. Let's hear from Councilmember Talavera.
Okay. First, I want to again say thank you to everyone for joining us tonight and being here with us. I also would like to tell Erica, welcome back. You were missed, so we're glad you're back and hope your conference went well. On the 10th, I attended the SBC COG Transportation Committee, and it was my first time there, but it was really good, and I'm planning to return. On the 12th, we had the Metro C Ad Hoc Committee with the mayor, him and I, and the city officials here from Lawndale, and we had a good discussion. And then on the 17th, I attended today, the seniors, St. St. Patrick's Day lunch, which was nice. So more and more that I talk with them, is more and more I find out I have stuff in common. So I met, her name is Rosita, and her son and I went to school together. So I had previously met a person there, and we went to elementary and high school together. Okay, and then I found a couple there that we have common friends from our church circles. So, and we had conversations from Guatemala and everywhere else, so I was really happy to be there. It really was good. And the last thing that I have is I wanted to ask if it's possible that we, because I saw in our last Thursday's mail, there was the special events calendar. So I wanted us to consider us changing the Lawndale Blues Festival to something that's more cultural relative to Latino or Hispanic Heritage Month. That's from September 15th to October 15th. So seeing that our demographics have changed, I'd like to see us incorporate something that's more appropriate for our city. So that's something that the council can consider. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Suarez.
Yeah, so I had the South Bay Cities Council of Government Board Steering Committee. There was a lot of discussion about Measure A. That's the sales tax increase for homeless services through the county. And so I want to ask that we agendize for April 21st, ask the Senior Project Manager for Homeless Services, Ronson Chu. He works a lot with our Municipal Services Department and outreach, and so just kind of what services they offer. Also, maybe he can address Measure A and how we're trying to fight for more funds to go to the COG. And they're still looking at the scenarios, and so we're trying to fight for more of the money to go directly to us. And then I think that was it. Yeah, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Councilwoman Suarez. Cuevas.
I didn't attend anything, which was good, but reminder that cleanup day is going to be this coming Saturday at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m. by our City Hall, right outside. So we're looking for volunteers to come and join us and clean our city.
Okay. Councilmember.
I have quite a few.
Ed Kearney.
First of all, I attended Lawndale Little League's opening day that didn't appear to be there. We were told opening day was at 10 a.m. I got there 20 minutes to 10, and the opening day was at 9 o'clock. So I kind of missed out all the heck. So it was a lack of communication between two individuals. I attended the Library Trust and Oversight. We spent money for some accidents the deputies were involved in. I attended LA County West Vector, and we had one mosquito case in Lawndale, and it was solved. And then I did also attend the senior lunch today, St. Patrick's Day, the day I'm a saint. It was great. My wife enjoyed the lunch. Frank enjoyed the lunch. Robin enjoyed the lunch. And I do want to give I want to apologize for a member of your staff, Lucho, Grace. Last meeting, we kind of hammered her, including myself, on things that we should have had Republic up here speaking on. So please send my apologies to Grace. That I probably offended her, I'm sorry, but we were hammering the wrong person. We should have done Don from Republic. And I want to commend the staff on all the great jobs they do. We don't tell our staff what a great job they do all the time. We ask questions that they have to do extra work on, but I think we have the greatest staff in the South Bay, and I would replace anybody with anybody. They're all great.
And you're sticking to it?
I'm sticking to it.
All right. Okay, so I did attend the Metro Subcommittee meeting, as Councilmember Taravera has mentioned. I also attended the senior lunch today, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. That was great. And of course, I already mentioned that I met with Torrance Councilmember John Kajeri regarding the metro. Well, we mentioned metro, but it wasn't really, metro wasn't really the cause for the meeting. The cause for the meeting was the annexation of El Camino Village. But we mentioned metro. Trying to see. No, that's all I have to report. Okay, it's 8:03. The 3 minutes behind. We got to pick it up as closed session. Okay. We're gonna recess the closed session. We will recess.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just read out quickly. We have, the agenda says 4 items. There are only 3 items. One is existing litigation, the civil case City versus LA Investment LLC. And then there are 2 items of potential initiation of litigation. Hopefully will not unduly delay the council.
Okay. All right. Okay, we have returned from closed session. I'm going to ask the city attorney to give the report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As to item 14, existing litigation, an update was provided, no reportable action was taken. As to item 15, the potential initiation of litigation, 2 cases were discussed. On one case, there was unanimous direction to proceed forward with civil litigation. On the second item, there was a 4-to-1 vote with Councilmember Suarez voting against to move forward with civil litigation. That is my report, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Okay, we are adjourned for today, but April 7th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. will be the next council meeting. We are adjourned at 8:45.